Hi, Ed. Another funny story. These videos are only 30 seconds, so this is going to be fast. I don't know if you remember fall of 2002, we went to a dinner party at Maurice's with you, Karen, Jeff, and Anne, and you and Karen kindly gave Emily and me a ride home, you know, brand new New Yorkers. And on the Grand Central Parkway, a whole SWAT team like jumped out of their van in front of our car and stopped the car in its tracks. And it was like, welcome to New York. An amazing story. So thanks. Just wanted to share that. Hi, Ed. I just want to thank you for all your years of service to ACSM. You oversaw the department during a period of amazing growth and provided great leadership. I always thought you were fair and funny and inspiring to work with, and I'm very grateful for everything you did, not only to support me, but the entire department. So congratulations on your retirement and all best wishes. I hope there's much more to come.
Congratulations, Professor Smaldone. You have been such a light for me in my musical journey, and I'm so blessed that you were a huge part of my experience at Aaron Copland School of Music. You were the music director there, and you were my professor for the arts in New York City through Macaulay Honors, and you also just told me that you found a picture of when I was in your musicianship class growing up, so that's pretty cool. The memory that I'd like to share is from Italy, the night that you and Karen cooked all of us dinner in your beautiful little apartment you were renting in Perugia. And we had a great time, and it just felt like being with family. Thank you so much for being such an inspiration and for always encouraging me to follow my heart and follow my biggest dreams. And now I'm in Baltimore Symphony, and I couldn't be happier, and I really appreciate everything that you've done to help me gain confidence and succeed as a musician. Have a great time today.
So welcome everybody. Needless to say, we know why we're here. We're here because of the man sitting right here in the front, our friend, our colleague, composer, performer, chair, party host, Ed Smaldone. I'm going to keep it brief only because I feel we're playing a bunch of Ed's pieces today, and I feel like that speaks volumes, and there are going to be people that are much better speakers than me coming up. I want to thank his wife, Karen, who we all know is really the energy behind the mass energy of Ed, and his 3 kids, his Julia, Greg, and Laura. So, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. How you doing? And 2 beautiful grandchildren. And your significant others. Sorry, I apologize. I've never met you, but beautiful kids. Everybody in the whole building has been seeing pictures of them for the last, 2.5 years or 2 years or something. So welcome, everybody. Ed's been around here. I feel bad because I say a really long time. One thing that's really cool about, I'm the current chair. My name is Michael Lipsey, by the way. The one thing that's really cool about the department, and it really speaks volumes about Ed as well, is the reality that, like, this is for the, maybe I can say the under 40 crowd. Like, there are a whole bunch of people here who are OG. They've been around. Some people laugh. Everybody over 40 didn't understand what I just said. They're like the originals. They went to school here. They taught as an adjunct. They taught as a professor. And then they retired from here, and they're still coming back. As a matter of fact, the one joke that we make with Ed a lot of times is that he's like, for those who understand this reference, he's like the Who. He's constantly on his retirement tour. So we see him more now than we saw when he was here a lot then, but now we seem to see him all the time, which is actually really nice. So Ed's been here. He got his BA here, he got his MA here, he went to the grad center, he came back. It says in his thing that he started in 1989. I think he's trying to shave a couple of years off his age, because I had him. I could say I was an undergrad in 1984 or 3, and I had him like after my first year. So in 1984 he was teaching here, so don't let him fool you with that 1989 stuff. So I can just tell you, I'm just going to give you the briefest thing about Ed from my perspective as being chair. He served as chair as 14 years, Ed, I'm pretty sure 14 years. And I got to say that, I went to school here. I'm another OG, so like I get it. When I was here, we were in a different building. The program was teeny. Ed, like, doubled. I want to say, I'm guessing at numbers, but it seems like double the enrollment, doubled the endowment. During his time, there were 13 full-time faculty hired under his directorship. Which is really an amazing accomplishment. And I can't even say, I would say raise your hand in the room if you were hired by Ed or you were in one of his classes, but I guarantee there's most people. I didn't actually ask him to do that, Ed. I'm just letting you know. It was more a rhetorical kind of a thing. But everybody here is for you, and is here because you're here. And thanks, Ed. Personally, I was hired by Ed. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be able to play some of your music. Ed wrote a piece for me called, a group that I play with called 3 Episodes. These 3 fine young gentlemen, 2 graduated, Nick's a senior, are going to play one movement of it. I will say one on the serious side. If you're so moved by this, Ed's for his mom and dad. There's a scholarship fund, and I apologize, the Jane and Paul Smaldone Memorial Scholarship Fund. So if you're so moved, there is. Can you hold that up? You know exactly what it is. He's holding up. You can scan your phone, or you can write a check or something, and that would be very nice as well. Anyway, we're going to get the party started. After everything's over, there's going to be food in the atrium, good Geno's, good Italian food for our honorary Jewish friend, Ed. Anyway, thank you for being here, everybody, and let's do this.
Good afternoon, and thank you to our student and alumni performers. My name is David Schober. I teach theory and composition here at the Aaron Copland School of Music, and I was chair of this department for one short term. I handed the keys over to Michael Lipsey conveniently about 8 months before the pandemic struck. So for his leadership and perseverance through what probably feels less like 6 years and more like 600 years, we are all deeply grateful. Thank you, Michael. In the big family that is music at Queens College, I still feel like a relative newcomer, having been on this faculty for only 21 years. But in this time, and for quite a few years prior to that, I know of no one who has contributed more to the growth and success of this program than Professor Edward Smaldone. Ed is a distinguished composer with a steady stream of performances across the US and abroad, award-winning albums on Naxos, CRI, New World Records, Ablaze, and other labels. He is a dedicated teacher, ever seeking new ways to connect with students in the classroom. He is an extraordinary administrator, as Michael mentioned, who navigated with grace and somehow humor as well the bewildering bureaucracy of Queens College for 14 years as director of the School of Music, overseeing the creation of our graduate certificate programs, the popular 5-year performance and education degree, and, as Michael mentioned, the hire of more than a third of the current faculty. He is also a friend and mentor to many of us, so many of us. Congratulations, Ed, on your retirement. It's been a little too quiet around here the last few months. Despite all the toil, the frustration, the red tape, the occasional doubts as to how much it all matters in the cosmic sense, I echo a sentiment shared by Ed on so many occasions, expressing appreciation for what a privilege it is to make a career in music. As Ed puts it, it beats working. I'd like to introduce a video greeting from Dr. James Muyskens, the former president of Queens College, whose tenure as president roughly coincided with Ed's directorship of the School of Music.
Hi, this is Jim Muyskens, a voice from the past. I truly regret that I cannot be at Queens College for this special celebration. I'm dialing in from the mountains of Utah, where we've recently moved. I look back fondly to the many rich and rewarding memories of my 12 years at Queens College. In comparison with today's unprecedented challenges, both to and in higher education, those days that we shared feel like a golden era. Indeed, they were. On this day, I wish to express my appreciation and awe to you, Ed, a true friend, an ideal colleague, an impressive composer, an exciting performer, an excellent teacher, an inspiring leader, and, most memorably, a delightful traveling companion. Today's celebration powerfully demonstrates the positive and sustained impact you and your colleagues at the Aaron Copland School of Music have on your students, Queens College, the City University of New York City, and the world beyond. Ed and Karen, Alda and I wish you many happy years in your retirement. We urge you to add to your long list of to-dos a trip out west. Come visit us, relax, enjoy some downtime, and take in the fresh mountain air. You've earned it. All the best. Thank you.
Please now welcome another luminary of the Aaron Copland School of Music, Professor Emeritus Joel Mandelbaum.
Here to bring a little bit of history, this being a historic event, the retirement of our 14-year serving director and a friend of the college since his student days. So I did want to say a few things connected to the time. He's in a long line. There's 17 people, chairman of the department and then directors of the school, all of whom helped maintain a very positive atmosphere, a very friendly atmosphere, an atmosphere in which taking students we knew already had a joy in music, but convincing them that there was also a great deal of joy in studying music, something they didn't always have at freshman time. Ed presided over what I feel, examining everything since 1974 when I became chair, since 1961 when I joined the faculty, a golden age, Ed's age, a golden age of our program. Center for Preparatory Music was here, and as a matter of fact, Ed had a very important role very early in that center because he was named by Larry Eisman to be his successor as director of everyday affairs at the school. And I want to mention Larry in particular on this occasion. It was Larry basically who discovered, even from Ed's undergraduate days, what a special person Ed was and what a fine administrator he could be. And he gave Ed at the CPSM a chance to show his skills to the rest of us. And I might also add that when the issue of hiring Ed for our faculty came up, and there was another very highly qualified candidate and a very close discussion, Larry came through with a major oration and a absolutely convincing case, and that's why we have Ed. And so if Larry were alive, he would be filling more than anybody else at Ed's successes. The golden age that Ed presided over, we saw the flourishing of the orchestra under Perez. We saw the flourishing of the choral society under Professor James John, still very much with us and still having his groups flourish. We saw the opera program flourishing. It is still growing and flourishing even more today. The various performance programs, he saw the jazz program increasing in its notice around the world, and that is still flourishing today. It was also a golden age because we still had the very advanced studies, even for undergraduates, in things like composition and orchestration, and extra semesters of theory and music history. He also saw a definite increase in the standards of the music education program, which continue to this day. I also want to mention, because I think it's always anything that takes place in these quarters should remind all of us that we would not have had these quarters had it not been for Saul Cohen, the president of Queens, in the 1980s, who had to overturn a veto by the chancellor of the City University and go directly to the governor of New York State to get this building. He lost his job over it, but the building stands, as you see. Ed, actually want to talk to you more about what is next. And here again, I think I am in a unique position to say a few things about what is next. All of us who take the mission of our music program here at Queen's seriously want you to stay active at the School of Music for our sake, for the sake of the school. You've done wonderful things. You've forged close connections with all the people who have power at the college, close connections with our donors, close connections with our alumni, and you've maintained those connections in those 9 years since you gave up the chair. We all want you to stay active for the sake of the school. I am in a unique position, however, to tell you you should stay for your own sake. I have been active for 25 years since I have retired. It has been the happiest thing in my life, staying in touch with our students, learning from them, and feeling that I can still impart something of the glory of music to them has kept me young. It's invigorating, it's rejuvenating. Ed, stay with us for your sake.
From here, enjoy the concert.
It's only my second time performing with an iPad, so forgive me.
My piece is short, so I'll keep my comments short as well. I'm Donald Pirone, and I'm one of those who grew up here. I've been here for many, many years. Ed and I started out together, and we became very, very good friends, close friends, and colleagues. And all I can say is thank you, Ed. Thank you on behalf of the faculty, the staff, the students, for all you've done to support. I've always admired your loyalty and devotion to everybody, including myself. And I have to say, it's amazing how you've done things. Your sense of humor, your aplomb, your basic philosophy is don't tell me I can't. I don't want to hear that, because we can. And he did a lot, as we know. So the piece I chose today is one which kind of makes me think of Ed. It's a happy, humorous, imaginative piece of music which is very energetic. And there's also a special touch here because Debussy wrote this piece as part of a suite dedicated to his daughter. Well, the very first piece that I played by Ed was two sides of the same coin, which he wrote for his lovely little toddler at the time, Laura. So enjoy.
Hello. I'll be short and sweet, but we, as a three, just want to say how thankful we are for your guidance and, more importantly, your friendship over the last few years. And I think it's safe to say that for all of us in the room, our lives have been made better by your being in them. So, thank you.
Test. Hi, thank you for coming. I was not prepared to speak, but I saw my name on the program and I figured, well, I need to thank the Emeritus faculty who came today. I was overwhelmed when I saw all of you walking into the building, and I know we're not supposed to name names because you might leave somebody out, but Professors R.B. Orenstein, Sue Han, who was my music education professor in 1978, Genevieve Chin and Alan Brings coming all the way down from Wilton, Connecticut, and Maury Ritt coming from Stamford, Connecticut, and the most very important Professor Ray Erickson. I hope and of course Joel Mandelbaum, who spoke. Who did I leave out? Oh, Dr. Rothstein is here, newly retired, 1 minute before Ed. Okay. Thank you to all of you who gave us this education, which is really remarkable. You laid the foundation for this college 50 years ago, 60 years ago, and it's still going strong. And your guidance has served hundreds, if not thousands of students over the years. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And Ed and I are very proud to have you emeriti here with us today. Thank you. And now I'm calling up Ed and my children, Laura, Gregory, and Julia Smaldone.
Hello. Our family has basically grown up here.
I'm Gregory.
Oh, I'm Laura.
And I'm Julia.
And our parents, Karen, Jamie, and Ed Smaldone, met in the former music building, Rat House Hall, in sight singing class. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. in the fall semester of 1974. They both turned 18 that November.
In 1986, our dad received his PhD in music composition and theory from the City University of New York and worked as an adjunct in a total of 5 colleges until he secured his tenure-track position here at Queens College in 1989 when I was 1.
As time passed and our family grew, Queens College continued to be the foundation and backdrop of our entire lives.
We spent a lot of Saturdays here, eating hot dogs in the atrium, breaking the conducting batons in his office, and taking lessons with some of New York's finest musicians, like Dr. Donald Pirone and Miss Ruth Guideri.
We traveled abroad as a family while Ed worked with groups of Queens College students in England and Italy.
And we were super well behaved there the whole time.
And LaFrac Hall, where we sit today, we've probably been here the most, listening to our father's compositions.
One that sticks with me is Letters from Home, a piece inspired by letters Dad found in our 100-year-old house in Manhasset, and mostly composed in his beloved basement studio, where so many of his works came to life.
He was the longest-running chairman of the department, spending 14 years, most of Julia's childhood, working tirelessly to bolster the Aaron Copland School of Music and leaving a lasting legacy.
And he did all of this while making lunches, driving us up the hill to school, and being at every single track meet, field hockey game, or chess match.
Our dad is so many things. A world-renowned composer, the lead man in any band, a conductor and a leader. But to his core, to his students, and to us, he's a teacher.
He has a unique ability to identify the crux of a matter, explain it in the clearest and simplest terms, and package his lessons so neatly that it stays with you for the rest of your life. Just ask the students whose 20, 30, and 40 years into their careers have been reaching out to thank him, invite him to their concerts, and even name him their guest of honor at premier music institutes around the world.
Music has been a constant in our life, something that I at times have taken for granted. My Aunt Chrissy often tells the story of me at 3, dressed as a ballerina in our living room, waving my hand at my dad at the piano and saying, "Play me something fancy, Daddy." As a new parent, watching my own children's eyes sparkle, Olivia and James, as Mom and Poppy play the piano and the guitar, it sort of dawns on me how amazing all of this really is. I'm so grateful for the music. Somehow in all of this, our dad found a way to do what he loves, and that's not always easy to do. He has inspired me to do important work. The arts are so important. They bring communities to life, they bring people together, and they make this world a better place. I thought when I didn't choose music after high school, it was over for me, but I've actually found a new purpose in ensuring that all students in my school in the Bronx have access to music education, something that isn't always a guarantee. We just brought recorders for the whole school, by the way, and the hallways sound amazing. From my own childhood to that of my students to the upbringing of my own children, I'm really so grateful for the music and for you, Dad.
Like my sisters, I've been lucky enough to have my dad as my teacher, not for a semester or for a year, but for my entire life. Unsurprisingly, after years of those lessons, I followed my dad's footsteps into academia, getting a PhD in my own passion, history. I focus on financial history, an interest I can date back to a conversation I had when I was a classic, curious 6-year-old child, and I asked my dad why he kept his money in the bank. Somehow, he managed to explain the concept of lending at interest in a way that a 6-year-old could understand. Now, of course, to a child, interest just seems like magic, and after a decade and really my entire life devoted to researching, writing, and teaching on the magic, I haven't really changed my mind. I owe so much of my academic career to my dad. He always shared in my passions, celebrated my achievements, and encouraged me to do what I love. At every milestone I hit, from starting my program to publishing my first article to teaching my first class, my dad was always the first person I'd call to share the good news and to ask for advice. That said, his own success gave me a false impression of the realities of academia. You see, for my sisters and I, and perhaps to many of you here, being chair is simply a recognition of how awesome our dad is. He got the top position because he was the best. I learned the reality of this when I was speaking to other department chairs about Queens College's Smaldone era. They explained to me, horrified, when I told them of his 14-year tenure, that being chair isn't a promotion. It's a thankless burden that most would avoid, but that he took on to serve his peers and strengthen the department he's devoted to his life to. Following in my dad's footsteps has shown me just how difficult and impressive of a journey he's traveled.
When we were growing up, Dad always said to us, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I heard that as a kid and was like, that sounds really easy. Turns out, it's actually a lot harder than it looks. The thing is, our dad made it look so easy all the time. He was always just kind of blending this world of work and life that we could never really tell if he had a job or if he was just doing what he loved, because it was a little bit of both. Even all the time we spent here at Queens, I never really conceptualized this as the place where he worked. It was just Queens College, where we had spent so much time. It's a really high bar to set for your kids, but he's made us all the better for it. He taught us to always find meaning in what you do, be intentional and caring about the way that you live your life, and find joy in whatever that is. And I really can't think of any better lesson to teach your children. So thank you, Dad. Thank you for teaching us that lesson and everything else you've taught us along the way, and for shaping us all into who we are. And I do want to say thank you to our mom as well. I don't know where she went. She's as much as a part of the Queens College family as anyone. She has always been the confidant and the champion by our dad's side, telling him to put in a G chord if he was stuck on a composition. And really, we all know there's no Ed without Karen. And thank you also to the entire Queens College and Aaron Copland community on behalf of Dad and our entire family.
This place, the people who are a part of it, both past and present, have been so welcoming to us over the years and truly shaped our entire lives and will always hold a special place in our hearts.
Dad, congratulations on truly a storied career, on doing what you've loved every step of the way for the past 40 years, and thank you for everything you've taught us.
Congratulations.
I learned from Ed that a guitarist is someone who spends half of his time tuning his instrument and the other half playing out of tune. So I'm not sure which half we're going to have this afternoon, but he will be joining our distinguished jazz faculty for a performance to close. But before then, please welcome the man of the hour, Professor Emeritus Edward Smaldone.
So I have to leave. No. You know, as the world threatens to implode around us, there are those of us who've had the privilege to make a life in music and the arts. And thank goodness. I'm going to really try to get through this. I'm really lucky. And I found my way to music, and I found my way to Queens College at a rather early age. This is my first group. I sang harmony in this group. I'm not kidding. Our parents taught us Coney Island Babe and Harrigan and barbershop quartet songs. The hardest part of this was my brother Paul and I trying to get our hair to part down the middle. We didn't succeed terribly well. But it was like a minute after that, next, that, rolling, there we go. Next, there we go. So it was like a minute after that I was in this band. That's my dear friend Mike Hall behind all that hair on the right side. That's me with the guitar. This was a band I was in high school. Just before I learned how to read music. I didn't know how to read music. I played the guitar, I learned things off of records. And this band, they handed out charts, and we had to actually read music, and I didn't know how to do that. And then about 6 months later, I went to Queens College and became a music major. Who knew? The epiphany that I had in music was in high school at this time, and I have to thank Mike Hall and the rest of the guys in this band, but also a colleague that I had in high school, Alice Casaro, as well as a couple of nuns. There was Sister Joan Fry and Sister Margaret Palliser, who helped teach me all kinds of things. I was in the shows. I was in all the musicals. I would play anything that they would give me. I played the banjo in one, I played the mandolin in another, I finally got to play the guitar. I played the electric guitar in the Mikado. There's no guitar part in the Mikado. Don't ask me how that really worked. But it was Alice who said to me, I'm going to take the entrance exam at Queens College. You want to come? I said, what's that? I didn't know what Queens College was or an entrance exam. We got in her car, we drove to Rat House Hall, and we had, we sight sang. I learned how to sight sing in the car on the way. She told me how that worked. And they put me in classes, and I remember that Joel Mandelbaum was the chairman. He stood in front of all the people that were taking the test. We'd already been accepted at Queens College. And these were the people that wanted to be music majors. And he stood up there and he said, I want you to look around because only 1 in 4 of you that starts in this very demanding program will graduate as music majors. And at that very moment, I turned around and said, I'm going to be sorry to see you people go. I knew right away that was not going to happen. So, and it was about a minute after that I met Karen. What do we got next? Oh yeah, well, yeah, I got to thank my parents. Okay, I'm sorry. They were amazing. I'm one of 6 children. There was always a crowd doing anything. We sang all the time. People ask, how many, what do you have as a, what's the musical legacy of your family? And it's these two and a whole family, a whole generation that sang. When we drove to Grandma's house, we sang songs. We didn't listen to the radio. My father hated rock music anyway. So that's what we did. And then it was about a minute after I got to Queens College that I met Karen. We took that last week. That particular spot on campus still looks exactly like that, as a matter of fact. It's one of the, not with us, but the buildings. I want to thank the kids. It's been a joy to be your father, and you've all chosen excellent partners. Phil and Matt and Pam. We're glad that we've got somebody to take care of these kids, because I've had it. No, they're good people. It's quite a group. I have to keep track of two things here. I'm sorry. Go ahead next. So early in the '80s, I was working very hard learning how to read music, and I taught in the prep school. Grew a beard to desperately try to look older than my students. That barely worked. I shaved the beard when we got married in '79, and I'll never forget Leon Palmers saw me and was shocked, and he looked at me and he said, "You look like your own son." I was around, I was here at Queens College since actually almost exactly 50 years from today. And then somehow, next, this was the faculty in 1989, that's Rat House Hall, that's M11 in Rat House Hall. We'll do a little game of Where's Waldo to see if you can find me. I'm the kid who doesn't look like he shaves in the middle up there. It was an amazing faculty. These were almost all of them were people I had studied with, and they were still here at that moment. The only person who is still on the full-time faculty, who was on the full-time faculty at that moment, is Bruce Saylor. And I don't know what his problem is, but he's having too much fun, and that's what's going on. And then the next, it was just a minute later that we were in this building, and that's about 1990, it might be 91, a lot of new faces, and as has been already alluded to, when I became the chairman in 2002, what happened in 2002 is that I started in September, and over those first 4 months of that first semester, 6 faculty members walked out the door. They retired. Roland Hanna passed away. Other people retired. They went to different schools, and I thought it was me. But it turned out that it was an amazing opportunity, and we had enormous support from Jim Muyskens, who you saw earlier. And I was able to, I was on searches, we hired a lot of people, and excellent people. I think we still have the community and the sense of community that we had, that I grew up with when I was a teenager, and then lived through as a young faculty member. I talk to people at other colleges, and they tell me it's not like that at every college. That the kind of shared purpose that we have as a faculty is kind of amazing, and that's the legacy I want to leave behind, and I hope that that will continue for many generations. No pressure to the new people, just do it. Next, one of my favorite things to do was somehow I figured out that, I never missed an opportunity. I was actually over at Maxine Fisher's office on the other side of campus, and she was a friend of the family, actually. She knew my aunt, and we're sitting there talking, and then I heard that she was doing a study abroad program. I said, what's that? And she explained it to me. The kids in our school would sign up for a class, then get on a plane and go to a foreign country, and the teacher would go with them, and that would be the class. I said, that sounds great. So let's do that. And we did. This is actually the second one. This is in Chichester. Mikhail Carlson is peeking out from behind that group. As I went through some of these, the next one, one of the things that was amazing, I got to take the family with me, kicking and screaming. This is in Florence. I'll never forget, this was a couple of years ago, a couple of years before this. The kids had to write stories about what they did in the summer, and Gregory was maybe in the second grade or something, and he wrote to his teacher, and sometimes we go to England, because that's what we did. We went to Europe. People think we did, it's wonderful. Lots of our friends think we did this every summer. We didn't. But I led 7 different study abroad programs, and it was amazing. Next, this is one of them. 2 of these, it's Ben Aronson over on the left, Fernando Medina. Those 2 guys are faculty members. Ben's at Nassau Community College, and Fernando is in Texas somewhere, and Emma Hospital-Horn is a very successful flutist in Chicago. Rachel Smith down in the front was a finalist in the, not The Voice, was The Voice of America's Got Talent. And this was just a group that, we went to Italy and landed and then said, okay, we've got a month and we're going to put on a concert of things that you haven't written yet. And that's what we did for the month. We rehearsed and worked, and we were kind of the band. The next one, please. Is another group from 2010. That's Anthony Izzo in the front, and Leo Kirkpatrick, and Chloe Wendell is in this group. That was a... Go, next. Yeah, this is Karen and I deciding whether we should go the following year. Having a little discussion, because when you go to Italy, you got to drink some wine. This is actually probably one of the wine dinners that I had with my dear friend Perry Goldstein, who's a professor out at Stony Brook. I always tried to make sure that I was having more fun than any of my colleagues. That was a primary consideration. Next, please. We also, with David Schober, he came along in 2014. There's another group that's in Perugia. Next. The last one I did was in 2019, which was tough because it's not easy. It was also terribly hot. That year I came home with shingles. It wasn't the best, but what are you going to do? These students, I mean, if you look at this group, we had a tuba, a singer, a percussionist, a horn player, a saxophone player, a cellist, and a violist. And a bass trombone player. That was the band. So that's what we wrote for. And somehow we wrote pieces that worked for that ensemble, and we played in places that looked like this. It was amazing. Next, please. And then finally, this is the last theory class that I taught. There's Annalisa and Willow are in this class. Also some other really wonderful students, including, I'm happy to say, I got to teach Lydia Saylor. Bruce's daughter was here, and she was in that class. She was a great student. They were all great. Next. And then this is a shot from Julia's wedding last year. This is an attempt to rein in the unruly Smaldones. This is my immediate family, and it's not even everybody. So it's been quite a thing, quite a thing. Do we have one more? Yeah, this is wishful thinking. I couldn't have done any of it without you. She just said, I know. The one thing that Karen said to me, the one and only thing that Karen said, she didn't know what I was going to say, and the only thing she said to me is, please don't embarrass me. Like that was even possible to avoid. But, like I said, I was here at Queens College for 10 minutes and I met her. It took 5 years before we figured it out. We were friends before anything else. And that sight singing class, 8 o'clock in the morning. Man, it was hard to get here at 8 o'clock in the morning. Even with the traffic in the 70s, it was bad enough. And she sat in the front. She was a good girl. I sat in the back and tried to avoid eye contact with the teacher because I hadn't practiced. And still trying to figure out how to read music. But it's been a ride. And what I'd like to do now is invite my colleagues from the jazz program. I've always had, jazz has always been an important part of my, of who I am. I kind of became a composer because I was improvising all the time and kind of got tired of my poor skills as an improviser. These guys do a much better job. I became a composer, but I never left that world. And so we got a few tunes we're going to close things out with. Thank you all for being here. It really is, Karen said it, the emeriti, my colleagues, both the colleagues that are still working and the ones that retired, as well as the alumni that have come back. It's amazing. I can't remember when anybody left. I don't know when you graduated, but you're part of my life, and I'm thrilled that that's still the case. Thank you.
So, when I talk about my my life as a guitar player, I tell people that it's evidence of a misspent youth. But what are we doing first? Bubba's song. Okay. Let's see. All right. So I changed a few words. I hope. Okay. It was 1974 when I first came to Queens. It's been my home, and what's more, no, they can't take that away from me. I parked right near the door. I had a master key. The students I adored. No, they can't take that away from me. We may never, ever meet again at Gino's or the Frack. But when Zico calls me, I always call him back. The way we all just love a classic harmony, just like a hand in glove. No, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away from. They can't take that away from. They can't take that away from me. to go. Way to go. This next tune is by our colleague Jimmy Heath. Thank you. So, here we go. There was a lot that we had to learn. So I thought this tune would be an appropriate one. We're going to do this, but we do this in tempo, right? analysis and figure bass. These were subjects we had to master, and this was such a perfect place. If you're really gonna win my love, you gotta practice all your scales, my love. Then you'll never ever fail, my love. Teach me tonight. Thank you. So we've got about an hour and a half more of these, but we're not going to do them. We've got one more, and this one I didn't have to change anything. You'll never know just how much I love you. You'll never know just how much I care. And if I tried, I just couldn't hide my love for you. You ought to know, 'cause heavens, I told you so. A million or more times I'm going away, but my heart stays with you. I speak your name in my every prayer. If there was some other way I could prove that I love you, I swear I don't know how. You'll never know if you don't know now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's eat. Mangia tutti. I got one more story. So, in that barbershop quartet you saw, that was about the same time I started a band with my friend Glenn Ramstek down the block. It wasn't a barrier to us that neither one of us played a musical instrument. We had a band. And we sang all the Beatles songs. We didn't know what anything was. We didn't know chords or anything. We didn't actually have instruments. We just stood around and sang. I actually had a dream. I don't know if I even... I remember it. I was, 6 or 7 years old. And I had a dream that the Beatles came in a convertible, it was a beautiful car. They came in a beautiful convertible, stopped at my house, beeped the horn because they wanted me to come and join the band. I came pretty close with the ride that I've had in the last 50 years, and I want to thank everybody. Mangia tutti outside.